while I was in college, I took no loans of any sort because I went to a community college. Eventually, I felt like it wasn't working for me, so I stepped out of that and I found myself working. And before I knew it, I had found a career path that I really, really, really enjoyed. And yeah, it's brought me a lot of satisfaction. It's brought me a lot of fulfillment in myself. And it's also brought me a lot of opportunity to expand my horizons financially. What that mainly meant for me, besides, getting a camera and buying a new skateboard, a regular skateboard, not my boosted board, that came later. I was eventually able to start to become completely independent from anybody in my family. Like, as if I really had a choice. There was really nobody for me to rely on. Um, I had no I had no safety net. So I had to build that for myself. So I was working completely nonstop, but I was also spending like an idiot. Like an idiot. Like a lot. And for any of you who follow me on Instagram, you would know that I spend an unfortunate amount, or I spent, I'm going to be clear with that. I spent an unfortunate amount of money on Supreme and Yeezys over the last 2 years. And, you know, there's nothing I can do to get that money back. I could try to resell the stuff, but at this point, it's just water under the bridge. Um, but spending like an idiot was my downfall. I was just following what everybody else was doing. I felt like I had the success. I felt like I had the means to go out and purchase some of these things. And it was almost like I had to prove something. I had to be wearing my wealth. And eventually that became very hard to keep up with. Let me be clear. I was making more money than I had ever been making in my life. I had been, really fortunate to find a lot of great opportunities. But I was just dropping all the cash immediately. I would come into a large sum of cash and then just spend it all, even if it's over a week, on stuff that gives me nothing to show for it later. So what? I have the freshest pair of shoes. It it After a certain point, it stops feeling good. It just feels like an obligation, and that was something that was extremely off-putting to me after an unfortunately long amount of time. Uh, in the end, once I stopped putting money into the Supreme and the Yeezys, I started trying to think about where I could put my money so that it would grow, where I can get my bank account number to be higher. And, because sometimes I would see that number go up past a certain point. I remember at one point, the most I ever really had all at one point was $4,000 about. And it was phenomenal. It was mind-boggling to see that number. But I went on vacation and I spent all my money. I I didn't spend the full $4,000 on just vacation. That's not what happened. But the the idea is the same thing. I spent my money really, really carelessly. I was buying all the food that I wanted. Never, ever, ever thinking twice about spending money on food, coffee, snacks, everything I wanted. But it was because I was paying no money in rent. I had no worries about where I was going to sleep that night. So, as far as I was concerned, I was doing great. I was doing fine. Savings, I'm 20 years old. I'm 21 years old. Who needs savings? But eventually, I finally started getting my shit together. I finally started taking responsibility and tracking my spending. And for Zoomer economics, I want that to be the overall trending idea for every single episode, it's about taking responsibility of where your money goes. No matter how much money you're earning, you should at least know where it goes. Even if you think that you're doing a great job, really, really put it down on paper to prove it. Prove it to yourself that you know where your money's going.